In the open ocean, you get to pick what countries' rules apply to you, and the rich and powerful pick the countries that conveniently let them pay no taxes, skip safety regulations, and screw over their crews. We're here to break down how the rich live above the law, set up systems to do it, and fuck over the rest of us. Welcome to Offshore. Ahoy, motherfuckers! Why are wealthy people throwing up flags for random countries on their damn boats? And how does this help them get richer and avoid rules like, say, paying their workers? Are mega yachts mega fucked? Or are companies and the rich getting away with this offshore scheming? Okay, let's get into who's doing this. The big three cruise lines are headquartered in Miami, but they fly flags of offshore countries to avoid regulations and to save money. Norwegian Cruises, they fly the flag of our old friend Bermuda. Carnival Cruises flies half and half mix of Panama and the Bahamas. Oh. And the Royal Caribbean Cruise is based out of the beautiful Caribbean country of Liberia, which is actually in Africa and not the Caribbean. Don't tell me what to do, I'm cruising, baby! Who else is doing this? Larry Ellison, founder of software giant Oracle, has the Cayman's flag out for his super yacht. Trump Education Secretary Betsy DeVos's 164-foot family yacht was registered in the Caymans, despite being docked in Huron, Ohio. So much for America first, I guess. Amazon founder and wannabe space cowboy Jeff Bezos has a mega yacht that recently made news in the Netherlands for being so large they plan to remove a bridge so it could get out to the ocean. So does this American billionaire, known for exploiting American warehouse workers, have an American yacht? No, of course not. It's also registered in the Caymans. So we'll talk about how the fuck they do this. But first, why the fuck they do this. You skip on taxes, safety, and wages. You're not taxed in your home country, you're just paying a little fee in whatever country you're set up in. What about wages and safety for workers? America has labor laws, but you don't have to worry about those out here on the high seas. Your ship caught up in a disaster, an oil spill? Well, that's the business of you and the country of whatever flag is flapping around the back of your boat. So when did all this start? After the Titanic sunk in 1912, a worker safety and protection law was passed, the American Seamen's Act of 1915. Big boat businessmen were like, we don't want to have to deal with all these ridiculous, unfair rules like having food on board for sailors, letting them sleep, or having silly little lifeboats. So they registered ships in offshore countries. Open boat registries were set up in countries that allowed your boat and the business of that boat to follow the much more chill rules of those far-flung countries, as opposed to your home country, or the country where the business makes its money. That would make too much sense. All legal, shady, but legal. The ocean industry, mostly cargo ships, oil platforms, and tankers, is dominated by boat registries in Panama, Liberia, and the Marshall Islands. All in all, flags of convenience are a big part of the sea biz and its problems. Take the example of the Deepwater Horizon oil rig. Remember that little incident? It was a floating semi-submersible drilling unit, so sort of a boat. Anyway, it exploded and spilled 210 million gallons of oil, devastating marine life and resulting in the worst ecological disaster in US history. Investigations showed a clear lack of safety concerns. And that was made all the more possible when you're flying the flag of a country with insufficient, unenforced regulations like the Marshall Islands. Of all the industries to fly the least regulated flags, it's the oil industry. The dirtiest, oiliest, grossest, most ecological disaster waiting to happen. Can we regulate one industry that's destroying our world? They can't be trusted. So what about this cruise ship? Let me tell you about the Nordic Empress. In 1993, the Coast Guard caught the ship owned by Royal Caribbean dumping oil in the ocean by the Bahamas. They eventually discovered a conspiracy to save money on all their boats by dumping waste into the ocean. Royal Caribbean denied all of this and said, you can't come after us anyways because we fly the flag of Liberia. What the fuck is up with the Empress? She's Caribbean, she's Nordic, she's really Liberian. Who the fuck knows? Consider me unimpressed. Guess who else uses flags of convenience? The kings of the offshore. You know them, you hate them, the Russian oligarchs. These fuckers. And as you might have seen, some of their tacky ass mega yachts are getting chased down at ports around the world. So, what's going on here? Remember, Russian oligarchs are essentially incredibly wealthy businessmen with extreme political influence. They gained monumental wealth with the privatization of state-run industries after the collapse of the Soviet Union. Now, they're also the guys who got positions of power because they are pals with Putin, and they love their giant yachts. They're essentially just private cruise ships. Roman Abramovich owns the Eclipse. The Eclipse is the world's second longest private yacht, has 2 helipads and 1 mini submarine. It's worth about $500 million. registered in Bermuda. Or there's Dmitry Kamenshik's super yacht, the Flying Fox, worth about $400 million. Jay-Z and Beyonce have been known to party on. This Russian oligarch might have 99 problems, but picking a flag isn't one. He went with the Cayman Islands for his yacht that houses an actual Turkish bath and a specially designed submarine garage. If you have a Turkish bath on your yacht, that's a cruise ship, my man. Why do these guys all want a private cruise ship? Cruise ships suck. Stay on land. I don't know. What do they want, the buffets and shit? I wouldn't mind owning a yacht, honestly. But now, these yachts are getting hunted down. After the 2022 Russian invasion of Ukraine, countries sanctioned Putin and the oligarchs. Remember, these guys are basically running the country with Putin. The targeted oligarchs hid their wealth in the offshore, so Western countries couldn't get at it. Russian oligarchs' yachts turned their navigation transponders off and sailed to ports where they were less likely to be searched and seized. But you can't just throw a car cover over one of these babies. The Dilbar is a giant yacht and it was docked for work in Germany. Its owner was unclear and complicated, but EU officials cracked the case. It's a Russian nesting doll game with these guys. It was owned by a company in the Cayman Islands where it's registered, but that company is owned by another company in Greece, which is then owned by another company in Switzerland. And then it keeps going. That's how shell companies work. They just keep going until you get a little guy. Oh, nope, still not it. Still looking for that final shell company. Until we get, oh no, it's even smaller. Little baby Russian oligarch. The center is Russian oligarch Alisher Usmanov. He's our little Russian doll. Little baby oligarch. Claims it's not his yacht, so you can't take it, when in reality, it's owned through several shell companies he set up before finally transferring ownership to his sister. You can't just give something to your sister and pretend it's not yours. This isn't Seventh Heaven, where you get caught with cigarettes and blame it on your sister. Despite all this offshore concealment, in March 2022, Germany seized the boat. When countries have incentive, it seems that then, all of a sudden, they can cut through the offshore bullshit. If you can figure out one of the world's largest yachts is owned by a Russian oligarch and it's in your country's port, then you can sell it and maybe keep some of that money. In Antigua and Barbuda, they just seized a yacht, the Alfa Nero, flagged in the Cayman Islands. It seemed to be owned by Russian oligarch Andrei Guriev, who denied owning it through some shady offshore structure. It has a lot of necessary amenities like a swimming pool that converts it to a helipad. Antigua and Barbuda gave the owner 10 days to step forward or they'd auction it off. And no one showed up. Well, that yacht, that's not my yacht. Former Google CEO Eric Schmidt bought the boat for $67.6 million. What a steal, practically free. And if you think maybe this money's going to Ukraine or something, well, that's very sweet of you, but also wrong. How about this? Sanctioned oligarch Dmitry Pompiansky's yacht, the Axioma, was seized off of Gibraltar. The yacht ultimately fetched $37.5 million in auction, and US investment bank JP Morgan got the money from the sale. The bank got $23 million back that they previously loaned to a billionaire Russian oligarch for some reason. Flags of Convenience as a scam is serious. It's not just money, it's the environment and it's people's lives too. Like how about this? Cargo boat owners routinely abandon crews on ships in far-flung ports when they deem repairs too costly. A Qatar-based company called Aswan Trading and Contracting recently abandoned 3 different ships. Some people were left at sea for over 2 years with no electricity, no running water, and no sanitary facilities. The company confused authorities with their ownership structure. Remember those Russian nesting dolls? And of course, their ships flew flags of convenience. These people are miles, thousands of miles away from home, getting paid the cheapest amount with no safety, no meals, no sleep, and then at the end, they're just abandoned. Just fly them home. Just finish the job. It's so ridiculous. How much money do you need? Listen, I get it. You're trying to do business. Just take a little bit of responsibility, just this small. Just stop pretending your boat is in Panama, Liberia, the Marshall Islands, wherever. Stop playing make pretend. Just take this little bit of responsibility. Pay your people. Let them eat. Let them sleep. It's just this much. How much money are you even saving? Please, just a little bit. Here's this last little tidbit. 40% of the ocean ships are flagged in former US colonies, set up by US businessmen, and still sold out of the state of Virginia. So before you think this problem is far away from me, just know it's as American as apple pie. All right, well, see you on the boat next week. That was offshore. All right, see you later.